I guess more or less all of you know by now what fiat money is and how our money system is based on that. If not, well, just pause the video and click the link in the right upper corner. I wait as long. Okay, welcome back. Well, that fiat money demolishes the sensitive balance between supply and demand by being not a constant factor is quite obvious. A lot of people therefore favor it. Commodity money, representative money, money that is finite, can't be forged and so on, like silver, gold or even Bitcoin. Well, in former times this was, well, coins. This system of keeping the same, or let's say roughly the same amount of coins in circulation has one flaw, since the money is constant but the supply grows. With a growing economy, the money gets more value. You can buy one thing today or you can wait and buy two in a week. Money gets value itself by then. So how to fight that? Well, give money an expiration date. I will not go into the depths of the idea today, it's just an introduction for today. I start with an example before we go into the theory. And to give it more context, in the Middle Ages, we're talking about 1200 and 1300 BC, taxation was a mess. The states wanted, of course, tax their subjects, and they had a lot of rules who had to pay what. But in the end, it was pretty mafia-like. The friends of the tax collector paid less than the enemy of the tax collector. Corruption, hardcore. Corruption makes people unhappy, and unhappy people use their pitchforks to stab kings, which is something that most kings liked to avoid in history. You see, some towns like Freiburg in Germany, this is one of the best documented cases in this regards, went a completely different way. They had their own coins and gave them out to use, and the people used them. No tax collectors came for the taxes, and you had to pay no taxes whatsoever. But at a certain time, mostly after 1 year, it was announced that the coin will lose its value in about 2 weeks, but you can come to the coin master and change your soon-to-be worthless coins into new valid ones. There will be a production of the same amount, but people who bring 10 coins only get 8 back. The difference was the tax, which meant that they of course made 10 coins out of the 10 old ones, but 2 were kept by the state. But this led to less corruption, less tension and less stabbed kings. The calculation of taxes, on the other hand, was also pretty easy. You did know how many coins are out there, and you know that you get exactly 20% of them. How much this was worth then depended on the strength of the economy, so there was also an incentive to strengthen your own economy. So, who paid the taxes then? Well, it's a bit like this musical chair children game where one ends up with no chair. Those who have the money in their hands at the time of taxations, those guys have to pay their taxes. So there was a big incentive to never have money. Even the deal, hey, I lend you 100 coins for 2 years, but I get back the valid coins then, was a reasonable deal and a good deal, and it was indeed the default way of lending money away. If you had too much money, you had also the opportunity to invest in the name of your house, which was mostly done by giving money to people who did more or less important or interesting stuff, and will then say something in the likes of, I would have never could do that without my dear Patreon Mr. Ferret. You see, being a philanthropist is often pretty good for business. And a lot of the cathedrals in these regions were built and renovated in this time. The money floated very free, very fast. It was, of course, demolished by the wish of the rich to get a coin that can't expire. And they got it, the ewigen Groschen. And the system failed because this coin had of course a way higher value for more or less everyone, and everyone wanted to keep some of them, so the demand for this ewigen Groschen was overwhelming, while the demand for the regular money went south. So why would you do this today? Well, you see, because money is like blood, and blood has to flow. If blood stuck at the same position, you have a problem, and we have now the problem that the money stuck in some certain positions don't flows and kills consumption. So And how would you do that today? Well, it depends on what you want to do with that. If you want to use it as a tool for taxation, you can use the system as they used it back then. If you just want to use it to stimulate the economy by making sitting on capital very unattractive, it would be better to make it in irregular times with varying losing rates. Personally, I like this system. What's your thoughts about it? Let me know in the comments. If this topic generates a lot of hate or love or both, I might go into detail in another video. Please note that this system just works if there is only one valid currency around. In a perfect market where you could choose your money freely, it really won't work. Although it's in my eyes at least the best system to stimulate consumption and investor in the same time. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and see you next time. Have a wonderful day.